I want to show this clip of Cherokee County Sheriff's Office Captain Jay Baker. It's famous. We all know what this clip is, but I want to play it and then ask you a question on the other side.
He was pretty much fed up and kind of at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
All right, Mayor Bottoms, I need to ask you this question because I'm glad we had that angle, because when he said that the shooter had a really bad day, I noticed your eyes go like this. What was your reaction to hearing that kind of explanation and rationale for a mass shooter?
Well, Jonathan, I want to put it in context. Cherokee County had one murder last year, and to go from one murder to a mass shooting, obviously, this is not a team that's used to speaking about the sensitivities surrounding homicides. That being said, I had the benefit of being in the back with the officers before we went out. There was real sympathy toward the victims that was expressed. Clearly, his language could have been more sensitive. My impression was that he was relaying what the shooter told him, but then the sensitivity of the moment of relaying that to the public, obviously, it was very hurtful to a number of people. And it's my hope that not just this officer, but law enforcement across the country will take this into consideration when speaking publicly about something that's sensitive as a murder.
Congresswoman Strickland, let me bring you into the conversation. You come from a district in Washington State, clear on the other side of the country, and yet what happened in Atlanta has reverberated through you and your community. Talk about that.
Well, first of all, I have roots in Atlanta. I have cousins who live there. I attended Clark Atlanta University and lived there for 5 years. And, over the past few years, I've just watched this community grow into this beautiful multicultural community. And for me to, to hear about the shooting on Tuesday night, I had to say something on the floor of the House when we were actually discussing the Violence Against Women Act. And so I talked about the fact that when something is racist, we need to call it out. We need to stop making excuses for it.
Congresswoman, let me stop you there because we actually have tape of a part of your speech. Let's have a listen and then we'll come back.
Racially motivated violence must be called out for exactly what it is, and we must stop making excuses or rebranding it as economic anxiety or sexual addiction, and how the default position when violence is committed against people of color or women is to defer from confronting the hate that is often the motivation.
And Congresswoman, what you also say in that speech is that you talked about your identity. You are Black and you're also Korean.
I am. That's true. And so for me to witness this spate of violence that's been happening, really what started in 2020 when people were talking about these hate crimes against the Asian American Pacific Islander community, and then to see it culminate in what happened on Tuesday night in Atlanta, it was heartbreaking. But it also, I believe, is an awakening, because I think for so long, a lot of people have believed that the Asian American Pacific Islander community would be quiet, that we would suffer in silence, and that, something like this happens and we're not going to acknowledge the root causes of it. And as you said in, editorial that you wrote in the Washington Post yesterday, we need allies to stand with us, because this bigotry and this racism is something that is not new to America, but it's something that is still happening today.